Hello, technical writing students. This is your instructor, Julie Gross, and this week we are working on instructions. You'll be writing me a set of instructions for something that you're going to show me how to do this week. Instructions are very important in our lives. I'm sure you've all put something together or followed instructions to do something when they were well written and they were easy to follow, and I'm sure you've had the other experience as well where you've had instructions that were hard to follow or confusing or the visuals didn't make sense. So that's what we're going to try and stay away from. We're going to write instructions that are easy to follow and easy to understand so that I can do whatever it is that you're asking me to do in your set of instructions. So we're going to follow through the chapter to look at what I'm asking you to do in your assignment and also to help you out with your quiz that you're going to have this week as well. Instructions, it says here on this first slide, are there to help to explain how to perform a task in a step-by-step manner. Along with that, why are instructions important? Our book gives us 3 reasons they're important. The first reason is for safety. It says carefully written instructions ensure that a job gets done without anyone getting hurt, which just makes sense, especially if it's a dangerous thing that you're doing. You're going to need these instructions to keep you safe. The second reason is efficiency. If you have well-written instructions, you're going to get the job done quickly and efficiently. And then the third thing is convenience. Clear instructions or easy to follow instructions are just so nice because it helps to make someone's job easier. And we all hope for that on the workplace, and we all hope for that in our daily lives as well. We're not going to spend a lot of time on audience. Your audience will be me. Somebody has a vague idea of what you're doing. I would like you to be fairly explicit in your instructions. Define things if you need to, and think about the way that you can do it to make it the most easy for me as your audience as I'm putting together whatever it is that you want me to do. For the process of writing instructions, our book talks a little bit about that. First thing you want to do is plan out your steps. Think of how you're going to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then do a trial run. Before you even actually begin writing your process or your steps and your instructions, see if it works. Do a trial run, perform that task, and then you're going to write and test your draft to make sure instructions do make sense. After you've done that, you might have somebody test it for you to make sure that your instructions do work well, and then you're going to revise as needed and edit as needed as well. After that, the thing to think about is using the right style. This is talking about the words in your instructions. Your visuals that you're going to use in your instructions are important, but the words are probably the most important part. You want to use number 1 there, use verbs in the present tense and imperative mood. Imperative mood just means that it's a command where you've deleted the pronoun you. You don't have to have the subject in there because it's understood. So instead of saying you sit down, you would just say sit down. You would say, instead of saying you be quiet, you would just say be quiet. You start right with the verb, okay? And I'll show you an example of that here later. Number 2, write in short, clear sentences. Usually you don't want more than 20 words in a sentence. The third one is use precise terms for measurements, distances, and times. Again, if you're talking about something that I don't understand, you may have to define your terms. If you're talking about changing the oil in a vehicle, I am not very mechanically inclined when it comes to automotives. So you're going to have to be specific and show me pictures of the oil pan or the oil plug or those kinds of things so I know exactly what you're talking about. Number 4, use connective words as signposts. That means using transitional words. Words like next or then or after, first, second, third, all of those words are helpful. And then number 5, number each step when you present your instructions in a list. If you have a numbered list, it's just that much easier for your readers to follow. You will probably use visuals in this assignment, and it talks a little bit about that in our book, about how to use visuals effectively. They help to simplify a process. They help identify specific things. They show a right way or a wrong way. Sometimes they reinforce your words, and they can help get the job done more quickly. There are guidelines for using visuals. You always want to place your visual next to the step that it illustrates. That just makes sense. Sometimes if you need to, you can number the visual unless it's right next to the numbered step that you're using in your process, and then you probably wouldn't have to do that. Make sure the visual looks like the actual object it illustrates. That makes sense as well. Inform readers if a part is missing or reduced in your visual. Label parts and set off visuals with white space. Again, with instructions, it's very important that the reader is able to follow it and able to see what it is that you want them to see. In instructions, in our book, there are 5 parts to instructions. The first part is the introduction. Second part is the list of equipment and materials. You need the specific steps. Number 4 is warnings, cautions, and notes. And the 5th part is the conclusion. And the book tells you specifically what each of those things needs to do. So you can check those out in the book as well. The introduction is really just stating why the instructions are useful and how they're going to be helpful for you. With the steps, you want your steps in the correct order. They need to be numbered. And you need to do what the other things the book says to do as well. Give them hints on how to accomplish the procedure. State whether one step influences the next. And insert graphics, again, like we talked about, where it's necessary. Some of yours may need warnings, cautions, and notes, but that's up to you. It's